Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was great, Steven. How was yours?
It was great. Can't complain. Can't complain. Did you eat good?
Yeah, ate really good. Was in North Carolina with the wife's family for the
Yeah.
holiday, and it was right. It was nice, relaxing, calm. Not really much going on. How about you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, I was at Miss Parker's house and you know, it was a good time. Good time. And Chike, you said you and family had a great time too.
Oh yeah, it
So
was fun.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll let you all take it away with movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I will start with I guess, the third movie of the weekend because we had such a big weekend actually for Hollywood, and that was Gladiator 2. This is the essentially the sequel to the first Gladiator that came out in 2000, directed by Ridley Scott. And it follows the story of this young man who gets captured and has to fight in the gladiator arena for these emperors. We learn that this young man is the son of Russell Crowe's character in the first film, somehow, and he's going through the ranks of becoming the gladiator. He's on a revenge mission because of what happens at the beginning of the movie, and it's really a story about that. And if anyone's seen the first Gladiator, it's a lot of this is action based. You're going to get a lot of action scenes and things like that. This movie does star Paul Mescal as the main character. We have Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, and a few characters that return from the first movie. Without spoiling too much, it was fine. I actually I did enjoy the movie. It's fun. It's got some good action scenes. In the third act, it starts to fall apart a little bit. And Chiga, I don't know if you saw the movie yet, but there was just a lot that they were trying to do in the last act, and it felt a little forced and a little like trying to be complicated for no reason. And then even the final action scene, which I thought was going to be a lot more than it was a letdown. But you're going to this movie to watch, people battle in the arena, and that's what you get. You're going to get a lot of battling in the arena. So definitely recommend if you are a fan of the first one. This is not as good as the first one, but it's still fun and it's a good time.
I like how you said it was fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's just so Denzel does a good job, but as people, we've seen a lot of Denzel, and there's certain times when Denzel's just being Denzel, and he's not really the character he is, and he's just being himself. And it's not his fault. I think some of the dialogue here was lacking for him, but yeah, it kind of takes you a little bit out of the picture. So little things like that you're just like was hoping a little bit more. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's a reason it's number three in the box office because Moana 2 wipe the floor with everything. It's broken all records for Thanksgiving weekend, for Disney's animated features, things like that. And then, of course, Wicked Part One uh, has the second place spot. So again, I think we're hitting a good triumvirate of like if you want to take the kids to a movie, you have one. You want to go see a musical, you have one. And then if you want just like an action movie, you have one.
So let me ask you a question. I'm getting a little technical on people here from a filmmaker's point of view. You said that toward the third act, it felt like it was rushed and thrown together. Do you think, from a filmmaker's point of view, do you think that there were scenes that they just tried to put together to finish the film, but still give it, a plausible storyline, like something that was congruent with what was happening in the beginning of the film? Or do you just think that it was just like ill orchestrated?
I think it's the latter. So, for anyone familiar with this, they've been trying to make a sequel to this movie for over 20 years, and it went through a lot of rewrites and scripts and potential ideas. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the first Gladiator: Russell Crowe dies at the end of the film,
Mhm.
so there's no real way to do a sequel with him. I think they were just trying to make it work, and so much time has passed that they decided to give him the son that wasn't even really mentioned in the first movie. And then it's just like they wanted to include kind of the political element of the first movie about like you have these emperors, they're doing a bad job, you have these people that might want to usurp them, you have the Senate, And yeah, they were just throwing a bunch at the wall, and then they're like, okay, well, we have to finish this up. Let's change some things, make it a little more complicated here and there, and let's just kind of move things around, and then let's just end it like this because we
Mm,
that's how we decided to do it. So yeah, I think it was just I don't want to say it was doomed from the get go because obviously this movie will be doing fine, but that yeah, the script was just they just didn't know what to do.
right, right. Wow. Um, I'll wait for it to come on streaming.
Yeah, yeah, unless you're like in need to see big screen action sequences, which I did enjoy them. Some of them were a little CGI heavy, but that's fine. It's the age we live in right now. But yeah, I think you can wait for the streaming era.
Okay.
Um, and then just one more thing I did watch is A Man on the Inside, which is a Netflix show that just came out actually, I think last week as well. And it stars Ted Danson and it's based on this documentary from 2020. But basically, Ted Danson is a retiree and he gets hired to be a private investigator by this private investigation company because he needs to infiltrate a retirement community to find a missing necklace. So he goes in and he can act like, this old person that's just joined the community. And of course, a lot of adventures happen, a lot of fun shenanigans ensue. But this is great. So if you're looking for there's only 8 episodes, if you're looking for a really nice little series, Ted Danson always does a great job when he's on screen. Always enjoyable to watch, but this has got a lot of that fun elements, but it also has a lot of serious elements, and the reason I say that is because there's a lot of scenes it's dealing with dementia, and this is what happens when you're in a retirement community and sometimes people get memory loss and become a different person. How does one deal with that and everything involved in that main storyline? So great show. Again, short, 8 episodes. I think they're around 30 minutes in length, and you won't be disappointed.
Cool. So I went to go see Wicked the day before Thanksgiving, and vaguely I knew about Wicked. It wasn't something that I followed. I knew that it was part of the Wizard of Oz storyline. Um, I knew that it was a hit Broadway play for years. It's legendary already in the world of theater, but that's basically all I knew about it. And so I went to the theater kind of naive, a little bit. And so I was new to the storyline, but I knew like the principles. And so I was looking for certain things. And can I just say overall, before we ever get into anything, I thought it was wonderfully done. I thought it was wonderfully done. And it stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Um, Cynthia Erivo, who I think is a artistic beast. That I don't think that there's anything that she can't do. Maybe dance, because I didn't see her dance too much in this film. But Ariana Grande, I have a new respect for. I think that she can sing. I always thought that she could sing. She has a great pop career, but I didn't know she had operatic chops, and I didn't know that she could dance. And she's a pretty good actress. She played her role in this film. She was pretty funny. Um, yeah, if you're a fan of The Wizard of Oz and you love that storyline, there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs for you to look for. There's a whole bunch of extra story in this storyline about The Wizard of Oz, or as it connects to the Wizard of Oz. I took my niece. We went together and we were basically trying to figure out where the story is going to go and what characters would be in the Wizard of Oz storyline, and just us making our guess. It made the experience more fun, just simply because the movie actually became um a vehicle for us to bond over going to the see this film. And my niece, she's 21, you know and I asked her, has she ever sat down and really watched The Wizard of Oz, and it wasn't something that actually grabbed her. She actually watched the film in its entirety in one sitting. She's seen it in pieces, but now she was motivated to go back and watch The Wizard of Oz to get that whole story in its totality. And now we're going to go back and revisit part two when they release part two. So
Yeah.
it's a good movie. Just be prepared to sit there for 3 hours. Take a nap, make sure you get ample snacks and be ready for the journey. But um, who you go with is vital. That was very. I was in great company, so it didn't seem, you know, laborious.
Yeah, I will say, and I guess I do have one more movie to review, but I actually realized this weekend I've never seen The Wizard of Oz completely. I've seen bits and pieces.
Mm.
But I've actually never sat down and watched it, and so I sat down and watched it last night. It's good, obviously, it's one of the most famous movies ever, but yeah, even I'm not even a big musical person, but yeah, I could see why it was such a big deal and such a popular, like, world that they built and such a popular movie, and so I know Wicked's kinda like the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West, but it was cool to see that because I do plan to watch Wicked, and so now that I know what happened and who these people are and what's going on. It's great. So if you get a chance, rewatch it too.
So I have a question for you, Adam, and this is from the culture. Have you actually sat down and watched The Wiz?
The Wiz. I will probably say yes when I was a kid because that movie came out when I was like, young kid, and I'm sure it appeared premiered on ABC and like it was probably on all the shows. So I will say yes, but I would probably stands for a rewatch unless you say otherwise.
No, no, no. I would suggest it to anyone. I think that they should sit down and watch The Wiz. And I'm not saying it because I happen to be black, but I think that The Wiz is like maybe eating a hot dog with all the fixings on it as opposed to just ketchup and mustard with The Wizard of Oz. Just my take.
That's fair. You also have to realize though, like 1939, the whole black and white or sepia to color transformation, that's like, that's like having, a regular phone and switching to smartphones. It's such a big
Yes.
moment. It's such a
Yeah.
big cultural moment that that'll be hard to recapture, but I definitely see the case for like modern retellings.
Hmm.
All right. And
So I'm curious as to part two, like what they're going to tackle and what they're going to embrace, and how they're going to deliver it. Because I'm sure this time around, even though it was huge, it didn't beat Moana. So I know that they're going to be, the marketing team is going to be in the bag, trying to figure out how they can have like the greatest movie of all time with this second installment coming out. So I'm just curious as to what they're going to implement to attack it that
yeah.
way.
Well, and so I learned it was a part 1 because they don't market it this way. So anyone who's seen the trailers or seen the ad, it's called Wicked when you anywhere else. When you go to the movie, it's Wicked Part 1. So
Mm.
I felt like that with the Spider-Verse. I felt a little deceived that they didn't
Hmm.
announce that, and I'm like, "Okay, now I gotta wait." But did you feel like it deserves 2 parts? Because the movie is as long as the whole play, so are they adding in a lot of filler just to kind of milk this, or do you feel like it coulda just been 1 movie?
I'm sure that they're adding because you got to remember there are other things connected to this film. There's other marketing. There's toys, maybe a possible animated series. So they're going to probably create more characters, um, more sub storylines. You know, actually, the potential for this could be infinite if you think about it from a marketing standpoint.
But as a creative, don't think about the
Hmm.
money they're all gonna make off of us. Do you
Yeah.
think it deserves 2 parts?
I don't know about deserve. I didn't
Okay.
say deserve, but you know, if you have a shot at making that mucho dinero, then why not do it?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching a bunch of Christmas movies.
Yeah, what stinkers have you been watching this year?
I did watch one. I don't know the titles, but one is Lindsay Lohan has a new one on Netflix. And the premise is so she was dating this guy in high school, and she broke up. Well, he proposed to her as she's about to move out the country or something. But anyway, so he felt like she was running away from her life. Her mom had just passed away and things like that, but she felt like this is something she needed to do. So anyway, they go on their separate ways. So she's going to meet her just 10 years later. She's going to meet her boyfriend's parents, spending Christmas with them. So she goes there, and when she's there, it turns out that her ex is dating um the boyfriend's brother's sister or something like that. Anyway, so but they're all in the same house. And so he wants to say something, but she was like, no, because the mom was like this real, prim and proper. Kristen, what's her name? The Broadway actress. Anyway, she plays the mom, but
She
she
was
does a
in
good job.
Wicked, right? You talking about the one that was in Wicked?
Yes, her.
Yeah,
Um,
Kristen Jenowitz.
Jenowitz, yeah. So she plays the mom, and she's very prim and proper, but very kind of quick tongue, sharp tongue. And so Lindsay's trying to impress her, so they decide not to tell anyone. And so it's just them navigating through all of that during the holidays, and it's funny, it's cool. I love a good Christmas movie. It's an hour and 30 minutes, no longer than that. I can do it. And that movie, it hits on it. Then I watch his other movies on BET. It came out this year, and the singer Mario, he's one of the leads. He plays a pop star who pretty much so, and the female actress, I just don't know her name, but she owns this boutique, and they're doing really bad. Her mom had passed away, she left it to her, and she's trying to save it. And Mario, he came out with a Christmas album, but it's not doing well. He needs to do well, but he's this womanizer. So his momager, she says that he needs to get a wholesome woman that can help change his image. And so she comes across this stylist, the boutique owner, and pretty much hires her as the stylist. And so, of course, the more they're spending time together, they kind of catch feelings, but he has his ex-girlfriend who really needs him for the Instagram likes and all this stuff. So it just shows how it all comes together for the holidays. But it's just those kind of things. The thing is, with these movies, you already know how it's going to end. I can tell what's going to happen. I said, watch. She's going to find out. They set her up.
Yep.
but they're still going to end up together at the last minute. It does. But it's still cool. It's still cool. So just a few of those I watched over the little break we had. But yeah, the holidays are
I,
here. I put
I
my
also
shirt
want to
back.
say, I also want to say that I started watching Dune Prophecy on Max streaming, and that's pretty good. And I want to shout out my buddy Brian Balthazar, who is on a new show on Max streaming called Humans versus Hamsters, which is hilarious. Doesn't seem like it would be funny, but basically it's like the ultimate warrior with humans versus hamsters doing the same activities, and
Mhm.
basically you're going to see who is the stronger or the better athlete. You'll be
Oh,
surprised.
yeah.
That's
Over
crazy.
Domingo has a new series on
Yes.
Netflix. I want to see that. I saw he's been promoting it, and I saw clips. I want to see that. But yeah, anything coming down the pipeline for you guys?
I'm looking for Nosferatu on Christmas.
Yeah, that's the big one, and Squid Game Part
Mm.
2, I think, or the
Yeah.
second Squid Game, around Christmas also. So, those are top ones. And before I forget though, Chike, did you finish Penguin? I think we haven't
Oh
been back
yes,
since Penguin.
yes, yes,
What did
yes,
you think
yes.
of the ending? I mean, so not too much spoilers. I won't talk too much about it, but this is a show that you don't like any of the characters except for one. And without spoiling it, things
And you're
happen
not
in
even
the
supposed
last
to like the
episode.
one. You're not supposed to like the one.
No, they're all
Um,
unlikable. Like, really,
yeah.
there's no redeeming characters. It's like, yeah, but
So
the
I was
finale was
disappointed.
rough.
Not disappointed in the series, but I was disappointed in the storyline. That made me sad.
Mhm.
I was sad.
Yes, yes,
But
but
it also lends to who this character is and the trajectory of this character.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we knew we were watching a villain the whole time, but I was just rooting for some people. So
Yeah,
it was a
yeah,
great series though. But yeah, yeah, I was kind of like, it's one of those endings where you're like, oh, I hate this ending. This sucks, but it really is good. It's just you don't want to
yes,
admit it.
yeah. And then, because, one of the things that, as a Batman fan, you can kind of get lost in the series and how this relates to Batman. because
Mhm.
Penguin is so strong. It's like such a strong show. You forget that it's a sub story of a Batman story. And while you're in it, you're focused on the characters and all the players that are in front of you. But what I try to keep in mind that, okay, this is a Batman story. How does this relate to Batman? And as you watch this evolution of Penguin through this story, and when it gets to this end that we're talking about, the end actually woke me up to as how it's related to Batman. Like when I
Yep.
saw the ending, I'm like, well, damn it. Okay, it is a Batman story. But
Exactly.
it only makes the anticipation of maybe another Batman or the anticipation of a second season greater.
Mhm. Yeah, I agreed. I agreed. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I know it's been a few weeks since
And
Penguin's
and
been
and,
out.
and of course, no spoiler alerts. They do mention some other characters in the last episode,
Mhm.
so keep your ears open.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman, you know the original man that played Batman? I just found this out today. So apparently there's a town in Colorado he got banned from because back in his day he partied there so hard and slept with so many women that he got banned from there for 15 years.
Yeah, I
Oh,
heard that
wow.
story, but to correct you, Steven, he wasn't the original Batman. He was the
Oh,
TV series Batman.
TV series Batman. Okay, yeah. I said he was getting it.
Is this
Yeah,
Adam West?
yeah,
uh,
Okay, yeah, Adam
yeah.
West, yeah, the most famous TV one, yep.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you as always for letting us know what to spend our time and money on, what not to, and we'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you, Chike, next week, but we'll see you next week, Adam. Right back after this.